Hello, viewers. Mr. Victor shouts us again on another session of learning with Stackstone's tutors. Today, as you can see, we are doing a new thing. Now, we did the introduction to algebra. Basically, it's about the number line, negative numbers. How you deal with negative numbers, that's still introduction to algebra. So today we look at simplifying algebra. To simplify means you are collecting the like terms in algebra. Now, say quickly, I go to a question to make us understand better. And now this is example. This is example 1. Now, let's say you're given a question like this. 2, I think that color is not so clear. That's better. 2p minus 3r plus 6r minus 10p plus 4 minus 8. Now that looks a bit long, but it will bring out the sense I want us to understand. Now, if you look carefully at this expression, this is called an expression because if you have an algebraic statement with no equal sign, that's an expression. So for expressions, all you can do is simplify. But then if you get one algebraic statement that has an equation sign, then you're being called to solve and get an answer, right? So in this case, it's simply making it look simpler. That's why you call it simplifying algebra. Now, if you look carefully at this expression, as we've called it, now the like terms are the p's, because you have p's, you have r's, and you have integers. So let's see. Now, I'll use boxes for the p's. So we have 2p's. We have negative 10p's. Remember, every value has its own sign right before it. So for example, our 2p, now though the sign is not there, our 2p actually has a positive sign there. So the negative that you have there, 3r, the negative sign belongs to the 3. So every value has its own sign before it. Okay. So the negative 10 is for the p. Okay. Now let's go ahead. Now for the r, I'm going to use circles. So we have negative 3r, positive 6r. Okay, that's clear. And then, of course, now we have the two integers at the end of the expression. The two integers include, we have the plus 4, and we have the minus 8. Now, you're going to deploy our knowledge of number lines. Remember number lines? We used the dots and antidotes. And you could also use the piles and holes. But then if you're good with the number line, then you can still use the number line by itself. Okay, so let's see. We have 2p's and negative 2p's, which is more. So let me just arrange it. So we have plus 2p and minus 10p. All right, now let's see what the p's give us. Remember we said the plus represent the piles and the minus represents holes. Now we have 2 piles and we have 10 holes. So which is more? Of course, you have the holes being more, and they are more by 8. So basically, we get negative 8p. Okay, so you're done with the p's. Now let's figure out the r's. So we have negative 3r and we have plus 6r. Let's see, what do we get? So in this case, the piles are more, because remember we are using the piles and holes. 1, 2, 3 holes. And then how many piles? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So remember we did that, piles and holes, and then 3 piles will go with 3 holes, sorry, will go with 3 piles, 1, 2, 3, and you have an excess of piles by 3. And if you look at it, it just makes sense by itself. So it means we have piles being more by 3, so you get positive 3R. Positive 3R. Now, of course, now for the integers, we had positive 4 and negative 8. Now, the holes are more than piles, or the antidotes are more than the dots, okay? The antidotes are more by 4. Of course, you can see that. We can say the holes are more by 4. So then you get negative 4. Now, recombining this into a more simplified algebraic expression, now that is going to give us negative, let me begin with the positive. So positive 3R so you get positive 3R and then negative 8P and negative 4. This is our simplified algebraic expression. That is our simplified algebraic expression. Okay. Now, I think that's clear. So when you're simplifying an algebraic expression, all you simply do is you pick the like terms. So the like terms together, so all the p's together. It's like you have boys and girls in a class. So then you mention you have 4 boys and 5 girls and so on. All right. So you can't combine boys and girls. So the p's by themselves, the r's by themselves. Okay. Now that's it. With this question. Now let's solve another one so quickly. Let's solve another one quickly. Still on simplifying algebra. So I'll just clear this. So that will form our example 2. Hope that's understood. Let's do one more. This time I'm going to include exponential values. But then the technique is just the same. Okay. Now, say you're given, this is example 2. Now, let's say you have 2xy minus 3x squared plus 4x squared minus 11xy. Okay, if you look at this, again, the like terms are, we have the 2xy positive and the minus 11xy. Those are like terms. Then you have minus 3x squared and you have plus 4x squared. Those are like terms. So let's go ahead and see. So if you have 2xy minus 11xy, now the wholes are more, the negative. The wholes are more by 9. So basically you get negative 9xy. Okay. And then if you took negative 3x squared and positive 4x squared. Now the wholes are more by 1. That gives us simply 1x squared or simply x squared. Now recombining this into a more simplified expression, that gives us x squared and then minus 9xy. And that's our simplified answer. Okay. And you get a tick for that. Okay. So that's how you simplify. Simply put into account the knowledge of negative numbers. So if you've not followed my previous videos, there's a one I did represent or illustrate on the number line. So you cannot solve negative. Now, you cannot solve some problems with the algebra unless you understand. So I'll have to request you to go back to my previous video, which I shared on negative numbers. That will aid you know how you combine negative numbers and the positives. So with that, see you in the next video, and thanks for watching and listening. Bye-bye.